Hello, this is Mukesh Jauri, and today we are going to start the first poem which is prescribed to the first semester. The title of the poem is Where the Mind is Without Fear. The poem is composed by great Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore. As we know, that this man is known for his Nobel Prize Award in 1913 for the collection of poems Gitanjali. Rabindranath Tagore uses simple language, but in a simplicity, a philosophy is there, philosophy of life, philosophy of Indian culture, philosophy of patriotism. Gitanjali, it's a tribute to a Bhagavad Gita. I mean, the poem or the anthology of the poetry focuses at the values of the life, which is explained in a Bhagavad Gita. Rabindranath Tagore was a dramatist, as we know. He was also a dramatist, the poet, novelist, short story writer. Apart from that, he is an educationalist. He has his own philosophy of education. To some extent, he was also a painter. He was awarded Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913. The collection of poetry Gitanjali. The national anthems of both India and Bangladesh are written by Rabindranath Tagore. The hundreds of songs he composed, known as Rabindra Sagar Sangit, and they are still even popular. Tagore's concept of the world was a global one. He thought in terms of humanity, not just region of the nation. Poem number 35, Gitanjali, Where the Mind is Without Fear, is a prayer by the poet for his country that it might rise above narrow nations of progress. He prays to God for an atmosphere of freedom and equality based on truth and fearless reasoning. Well, this is what the short introduction of the poet. We need the short introduction for the poet or the any writer prescribed in our syllabus in order to solve the multiple choice questions. So when you study the poem thoroughly, don't forget to read the introduction, because it deals with the minor description of the poet or the writer, and some dates which are of course important in order to solve the MCQ type of questions. Okay, now you will see the title not in a clear form, but it okay, due to the camera, it's Where the Mind is Without Fear. I have written the title on the blackboard. Let us focus on the word, the mind. I mean, this word, the mind, it is used in the poem. Actually, it is not the poem, but an epic, Paradise Lost, by John Milton, and he made focus at the word mind. When the fight in between God and Satan were in progress, and Satan's were about to lose that war, and all the giants gathered together. At that time, the Beelzebub, leader of the giants, addressing to all the giants that it's a mind. What happened even we are about to defeat the war or the battle? Physically, we are not that much stronger as compared to the God and their party, but we have the strong power of the mind, and the mind can turn up the hell into heaven, and of course, hell into the heaven. So it's up to the mind. If our mind is stable, we can change anything. So what a human being needs, particularly the strong mind. After independence, I mean, Indian society is at chaos. I mean, what to do, what not to do. a new government is there. Okay, I think this poem is composed before the independence, not after the independence, but the second half of the 19th century, particularly, or 20th century, is not clear cut. I mean, no vision was there. The British Raj and the rule of British, which was not quite healthy to the suppressors, I mean the Indian. So the whole atmosphere seems to be in a darkness. A fear is there in the mind of the people. What to do, whether to oppose the British government, and to whom we should accept. So the fear is there, and if we keep the same fear in our mind, even though we got independence, how could we live our life if we have that fear? The poet wants that type of land, the poet wants that type of atmosphere where each man will live free life. No fear is there in mind of a person or an Indian. So that type of atmosphere, that type of land is expected by the poet. And therefore he titled the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear. Okay, let us see the poem, what poem exactly says in that. Well, before I start the poem, let me explain one thing. As it's the first year, I mean, you don't worry that our teacher is using that direct method, English to English. But as it is a subject of English, you should not expect me to teach in Marathi, because no Marathi teacher teaches in Hindi and no Hindi teacher teaches in Marathi. So it is expected by the teacher of English to teach English into Marathi. But okay, when I feel that something is difficult, then I will explain in Marathi. Okay, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. Okay, when you do not have that much fear in your mind, and when you walk toward to gain your goal, okay, if no fear is there in your mind, then you can hold your head high. And if you walk, you have decided to keep something, you have decided to go at the particular place, but if you have fear of something, fear of anything, then you cannot keep your head high. You know who is your enemy. Once you decided to reach that place, you need to have what? Your head to held high, okay, in that type. And if your mind has the fear, you cannot keep your head high, or you cannot hold your head high. So fear in a mind cannot permit a man to hold his head high. First you should keep your head like that, and then forget the fear. Where the knowledge is free, and it will happen when you keep your head that held high, when you have no fear in your mind, then what you will see, the knowledge for which you are striving, it is absolutely free. I mean, the poet wants that type of atmosphere where a person can walk freely, okay, without hesitation. He can hold his head high, and he cannot have a strange fear in his mind. It means that for him the knowledge could be a free, okay, he need not to pay anything to gaining the knowledge. So when once you held your head high, once you freed your mind from the fear, knowledge could be the free one. And once you get the knowledge, you got that capacity to distinguish in between wrong and right. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic wall. The world has not been broken up into fragments. Okay, the poet referred the world and the divisions into the society of the world can be studied by the elements which differentiate society from one to another. I mean, frankly speaking, the abroad, at abroad country, the society, the study of society depends on the racial issue. Okay, black, white, colored, right? When we talk about our Indian society, the society of India is divided into the caste system. In order to study Indian society, you need to study the caste. The poet says that these are all broken fragments. I mean, domestic walls are there in between two persons. Both are Indian, but they are divided by their caste, creeds, their race, their color, their language. Different varieties are there in our Indian culture, and the society is divided by those elements. These are all narrow domestic walls. Once you freed yourself from fear, when you started once with keeping your head high, holding your head high, when you learn that the knowledge is free for you, then don't bring such narrow domestic wall in your ways. I mean, you should not consider the person, you should not know the person, you should not value the person by his caste, by his creed, by his color, language, okay, variety of dress up and food behavior. That is what this will destroy, okay, quality, integrity of our country. So poet says that once you start learning, once you aware that knowledge is free for you, then forget all the domestic walls, right? And I mean, this is one of the value, human value, the poet focusing at domestic, narrow domestic wall. And if you keep all those narrow domestic walls in your way, then you will have the same fear. Okay, you are trying to free yourself from the fear. If you have this narrow domestic wall, then fear will last long, okay, and you will not do progress. Where the word come out from the depth of the whatever you speak, whichever words whichever words you speak, the words will come from the depth of the truth. Okay, whatever you speak, it should have the base. Which is base? The fact or the truth. Once you speak truth, there is no need to repeat the same words because it's a truth. I mean, to whom you made a promise, to whom you deal, or whatever you decided to do, and when you use the words, your words should have the base. Which base? Truth. Okay, from the depthness of the truth, the words will come out, and such words will have weight. Okay, and as you have that depthness of the truth, as already poet said that once you are free from the fear, once you started, okay, educating yourself, you got that sense what is good and what is bad. Once you started neglecting all narrow domestic walls, once you started believing in equality, fraternity, brotherhood, okay, then the words, when you speak out with anyone, automatically you believe in a depthness of the truth. So whatever you do, it should have the sense of the truth. The poet says that the words which you speak, it will come out from the depth of the truth. The tireless starving stretches its arm toward the perfection. Within a few days or within a few months, few years, you will not be a perfect. I mean, you should not let the act, or you should not stop your attempt to to reach or to get that perfection, because perfection is not anybody's cup of tea. You need, okay, you need a hard work. In order to get that perfection, the poet said that you should start keeping fearless your mind. Okay, once your mind is without fear, you will have the habit to walk free and frank. You will start holding your head high. Okay, fearless mind, and you started holding your head high will allow you to learn the knowledge. Okay, once you are knowledgeable, once you started learning, you got that sense not to distinguish the person by his caste, creed, race, anything. You started considering the person as an Indian. You start following brotherhood, equality, all the human values. Then then you are about to reach the perfection. I mean, the poet wants that such a type of person or such a type of Indian will automatically got the perfection, because whichever action he is about to do, whatever words about to speak, the words has what, that depthness of truth. Truth is there, the base of all the activities. Okay, as he said that our minds are free from the fear. Okay, we got that ability to look into the eyes of the opposer. We got the knowledge. We are not of the sense to distinguish the person. Okay, we removed all the domestic walls. We have the power of truth. Then we are about to reach the place where we have that perfection, perfect India. Okay, a person who has perfection. So that is what expected by the poet in third, fourth line of the poem. Let us see the next line. Okay, this is what the first lecture of mine. I mean, it is like an act to speak in front of camera. No students are there, so it is not like you should not expect a teacher as an actor to be like actor. Okay, try to understand the sense which I am communicating here. Okay, so let us see the next line. Where the tireless starving. Okay, even though you are tired in your journey, but don't let, because you have what, the raw material of the truth toward the perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of the dead habit. Okay. Stream of reason and desert sand of dead habit. The poet compared, I should not say the compared, I mean, three natural aspects are there. Okay, a stream of water which denotes the life. The stream of water gives a life. Desert resembles a dead land. It is up to you, okay, to choose which one. Okay, whether you want to be a part of that stream of water, or if you want to be a part of that desert, dead land. Okay, when a person who keeps mind without fear, a person who is knowledgeable, a person who do not believe in a narrow domestic wall, a person who speaks with the truth, he will follow, or he would like to go with the stream of water where the life is there. Okay, what the poet focusing at, live a life with human values. Okay, and a person with human values definitely will go with the stream of the water, not that dead desert, and he will not have that dead habit. Where the mind is held forward by the into ever widening thought and action. Okay, whichever act you decided to do, as you have the base of truth, you will succeed, because you made yourself habitual of that truth. Okay, and you got one's perfection. So a person without fear in his mind will do anything. Before to do a thing, he will think upon that, and whichever decisions given by his mind, free mind, then he will react. The mind is laid forward by the into your widening thought, this will of thought. Healthy thoughts are expected by the person of fearless mind. A calm and quiet thoughts are expected by the person, and that thoughts are responsible for the action. In a pre-independence era, different streams are there to get the independence. Some people wants by the force, by the fight, by the violence we can have independence, but some people are of this opinion that non-violence peace can lead us at the free India. I mean, we will see that day when the India will be the free. The poet said that think before you act. Okay, and if you have that stability of mind, then whichever action you are about to do, it will result in a positive aspect. So think before you act, and then do the action. Into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. The poet expect that I want that type of India, that type of my countrymen. Whatever he said in his upper lines, that the person of fearless mind, the person who held his head high, the person for whom knowledge is free to, and he is ready to spread the knowledge, a person whose behavior is not restricted by narrow domestic walls, a person who speaks with truth. Okay, from the depthness of the truth he speaks his action. The person who believes in a streams, not into the dead desert, a person who believes in human values, a person who react at any situation with the thoughts. I mean, he always is there in a positive side of the action, not in a negative side. The poet wants, he prays to the God that God, let my country to that land where the where he will enjoy what, heaven of freedom. Right now it seems that my countrymen are asleep. Father, let my country awake there to that land. Okay, it seems that my countrymen are asleep, as if they are sleeping in a dark night. Okay, if they will inculcate all these values, human values, as he said in other lines, I want to awake my countrymen to that place where his country will like, I mean, heaven. Okay, freedom of heaven. The India will seem as if it is a heaven, everything is free. Okay, the person will enjoy that freedom. This is what, and when it will happen, once our countrymen start keeping their mind without free. That is what the poem, this is what the first poem which we learn. You just watch this video, and once you watch this video, after the next time I will teach the same poem with the grammar translation method. I mean, I will use, of course, Marathi language in it, but listen this video, and it is just an experiment. Okay, if you considered it as a difficult one, write the comment there, and we can have certain changes in that. Okay, thank you. This is what Mukesh Javre. Okay.